So what's up? This is a talk I want to have with all the Christians out there, I guess. I don't know really what to title this yet, so hopefully it comes to me after I have a little discussion here. Hopefully I don't rant too long. I'm going to try to keep it to like 5 minutes, something like that. But essentially, I want to like kind of comment on why I think anxiety happens and why depression happens, and it's two major things um, two single, simple, major things that I've noticed it happen to me. So the anxiety comes essentially, just let's just say it plainly here. So the anxiety comes when I don't trust God. Every time I trust God, there's no fear. There's no anxiety. And anxiety is just a level of fear. Worry. There's all these different synonyms to describe anxiety. Uh, so when I don't trust God and I start to just like freak out because I'm not trusting in God and trusting His plan for whatever reason, anxiety grows in me. Um, and then depression, when I lose, it's another way of saying trust, but it's when I lose sight of the future. Because like I pray and I have these, not necessarily, well, I have visions, not visions in a sense like a Hollywood sense. I don't have visions in a Hollywood sense. I have visions as in what the future could be, like a visionary vision. Like I imagine it, some ideas, and then I start to build a potentiality future world that may manifest or may not manifest. Because like if I do these sets of actions, I can see the next steps. If I keep working, I'll make this much money this year, so then I should be able to afford to pay my mortgage. Type visions. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Because like I'm not trying to say like the world like I'm like taking DMT or acid, having acid trips, seeing like the universe or something like that. But I have from praying with the Lord, and what I hear, the whispers of your heart or whatever it is, the different inclinations, the push, the new desires that come up, all of these little manifestations that I would just like attribute to the Lord. They could be like me tripping, sack, being schizo or whatever, but I've tested a lot of different ones out, and a lot of the times it's just me having wishful thinking. But there are certain things that I've had visions of the future about that like are just like a general good, a general positivity. My family, my house, blessings, and I've had like trials, or like visions of trials and visions of I don't want to say trials and tribulations, but I can see a lot of I'm sure what the news does. They always say the end of the world is right around the corner, and that's part of mine too. My visions of the future too. Um, so when I become depressed, I lose those visions. There is no future. It's always when I'm in the moment, in the turmoil. I'm at my crappy job. I'm running my crappy machine. It's breaking down. Everybody's kind of acting crappy around me, and there's no physical signs, no physical inputs that are I guess it works with anxiety too, but enough inputs happen so that my visions go away and they become hell. They go away. They say you're going to do this forever. It's never going to get better. Because like on my machine, it runs in like 2 minute cycles. So you're just getting a very, very powerful feedback loop of failure. And then your boss walks by and he's got like, he doesn't probably realize it, but he's got a shitty look on his face. And you're like, great. It must be because of me. Because this machine, you know what I mean? Like that machine knocks you down. I don't know if anybody's ever operated machines that have to run live that do like massive cycles like this, and if the machine's not very optimized because whatever reason, it slowly sucks your energy. It sucks your positivity out of you. And then, people do it too. There's a lot of different things that trigger it, but when I've become a machine operator, I've noticed that it compounds the effect. And I guess whatever, you know what I mean? It like I guess a good way for me to look at it actually, this is gonna be a tangent now. Um, so just to reiterate, the hope and the anxiety both come from not trusting the Lord. So I don't that's the cause. The solution I guess would be to trust the Lord, but then how do you do that? That's a whole other conversation to have. maybe in this video, maybe in another one. I'm just kind of speaking from the heart here, but I'm just coming to the realization that me becoming a machine operator and learning this little nuance in life may have given me a perspective to talk about it with people because, you know what I mean? So, what I mean about that, if you don't, is that like you, you say you're gonna run you've never ran before, you're gonna train into running. You know how like when you start exercising, you're super excited, so then you go too hard. You know, you do a bunch of crazy workouts and then you're so sore you don't want to move and you just think about how you want to die. So then if you were able to keep up with that, you would see some results eventually, but it's very difficult. But it would be very fast results. So like if you did like 10 miles a day for 100 days every day, no matter what, rain, sleet, snow, whatever, shine, you'd become very athletic. Um, I'd imagine. I'm not like I was a cross country runner, but whatever. That's how like cross country was. You know, your coach would just sit there and be like, "Yo, run the miles, man," and he didn't care how fast you ran them. He would just make you run them. But the more you put in the bet, the more you got out. It's one of those things, like everything. But then, like, so the machine operating and the machines I've operated, it's not like machines you can shut off. So I used to run a cheese extruder, and that was running 2.2 pounds of cheese a second. Okay, 2.2 pounds a second. So then every mistake costed you seconds. So there'd be mistakes that would cost you 15 seconds. So now you just lost 30 pounds of cheese, which, if you've ever bought cheese, is very expensive per pound, especially losing it by the second, 2.2 pounds a second. And sometimes it would go into the rework barrel, but a lot of the times it'd fall on the floor. So it's a total loss. And rework is still a loss because you lost opportunity cost. And there's all these different little things going on in your head because as you run the machine and understand these nuances, you understand what's at stake. So then it's like very demanding on your psyche. So then the machine now I operate is a straw blanket machine and it operates the very same way. It generates about 75 cents a second. So every second I'm not running that. 2 seconds is already $1.50, and there's 30 of those. So 30 times $1.50 is what? $45. So $45 a minute, and you're only getting paid 22. So you know what I mean? Every minute you're not running that machine, you're costing the company $45, and you're still getting paid. So then you know what I mean? It increases this level of intensity. I'm not going to say like despair or whatever because I know I can hear people saying, and I can hear arguments saying like in my head right now that you shouldn't care. You can only do what you can do, and da 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 da. And that's all nice and dandy, and those are all very good feel good isms, but it doesn't change the fact that it is what it is. So then it does tear you down emotionally, it tears you down physically. But the positive of all this is what I'm saying is that I am experiencing what people experience over a lifetime. I feel in years, because it's every second. Everything is important. Every second, and my life has changed from like yearly thinking to seconds. Every second matters. And I try to like conceptualize how many things are happening in the world every second, and then my brain blows up. But um, I feel like that if I mean, I've learned coping mechanisms that, what's the point of all this? I don't even know. But like, I guess what I'm saying is that like I get what people are, maybe God has like put me in these situations so that I can understand how people are feeling in their worlds faster so that I'm ready to, you know what I mean? Like it's the marathon thing. So like if you do 10 miles a day, you'll become a really good runner. So then you'd be faster or better ready to run a race. But if you do it the way that most people suggest is that you do like a half mile every once in a while, start small and then build your way into it. I'm being kind of like shoved into this very intense training regimen of emotions, and I guess that's hopeful. But right. So yeah, the point of it is that this is why I know that when you lose trust in God, then it comes because I can go. There's days where I run these machines and I've trusted God the whole day, so I didn't care that I felt like shit, that I was sore. I still got up the next day and I still went back in with a smile on my face, and I wasn't depressed. I could I could struggle. I could struggle and struggle. But I would never be depressed because I'm like, I'm gonna get this money. I'm gonna go home to my kids. I'm gonna go home to my girl. and we're gonna live because that's the vision that God gave me, and I know that there's the hope. So if you don't lose sight of that hope, and you don't lose sight of that trust, anxiety can't get you, and depression can't get you. So hopefully that helps somebody, I guess. Just kind of freestyling. Catch you later.